Hey, welcome to piano lesson number 5. So, I had the day off today, so I decided to just make another one, because I just released piano lesson number 4 last night. And then my boss was like, oh yeah, we don't have our control file today, so, we don't have any work until that comes in, so I got the day off, so I was like, well, I guess I'll make another video. So, today, last lesson we learned about the staffs and stuff, like what a note is and where they are, how they correspond to the keyboard. So if you're just stumbling across this video, I'd probably go back to the first lesson and start watching from there. So you can find that by going to like my channel and then looking back in my videos, I guess, if you don't know how to do that. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so today is, ooh, look at that, isn't that pretty? Okay, today is note values and notes. So, doesn't that look fun, huh? Ooh, hoo, hoo. Okay, so let's start with the easy stuff. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you what the differences in the notes are. Okay, so I'm only going to explain the first 4 notes because that's pretty much all you'll need for the start of this. Okay, so whole note. This is the most basic note, I guess. It's the first note, and all it looks like is a really big circle, or a small circle. It's just a circle, okay? Whole note, circle. Okay, got that? Good. Okay, half note. Okay, it's a circle with a line. So, I'm drawing this example because normally the line goes up, but also with some certain rules apply, the line can go down like this. But we'll get into that later. I just wanted to make things simple. So that's a half note. It's a circle with a line. Okay, moving on. Quarter note. It's a circle with a line that's filled in. So, circle, add a line, and then fill in the circle. And then you have a quarter note. Okay, now, what are we going to add for the next one? We've already drawn a line, we've put in the circle. Now we're going to add a tail. Okay, so it's a circle with a line filled in, and you add a tail. Okay, and then I have this or here because when you come into sheet music, if there's 2 eighth notes together, that will they'll usually join them together like this. They'll have the 2 circles filled in with the lines, and then they'll have like a kind of bridge connecting them. Okay, so that's an eighth note. This is a quarter note. This is a half note. And that is a whole note. Okay, so now you know what they look like, but what do they do, right? Okay, so I've drawn this little chart down here that looks like a whole big mess, but it's actually pretty simple when you think about it. Okay, so all these different notes up here, they each have a different set value. So think of it as kind of like a set amount of time that you're supposed to hold the note for on the piano. So with the whole note, you're holding the whole note twice as long as you're holding a half note. So if you strike the whole note, you'd be going dun, but if this is a half note, it'd be dun, dun. So dun, 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 and then dun, 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 and then dun, 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 dun. Kind of get that? So in the space that you can play 8 of these, you play 1 of these, right up here. In the space you play 1 of these, you're playing 2 of those, or you're playing 4 of these. So I have the 1 marked with the whole note, 2 with the I guess that's whole note, half note, quarter note, 4, eighth note, like this. Okay, so I marked 1 because if you notice, every time you go up, it gets twice as fast. So the next note is actually a 16th note, then it goes to a 32nd note, then 64th, and then 128th note. So that would be 128 notes that I'm not going to draw on a thing under a whole note. Okay, so that's the pyramid for this. what else could I tell you about that? Not too much until you know what beats are and everything. Okay, so that's the value. Just think of as it goes up, it's always twice as fast as the last one. So as they go up, you can fit 2. So there's 2 quarter notes in 1 half note, and there's 2 eighth notes in 1 quarter note. There's also 2 half notes and 1 whole note. Okay, so moving on now, we're going to look at beats. So we have what the notes are, and they'll be placed what key you want them, but then you have to know how long they're going to be held for, right? So you have to be able to count them. So we have this little thing called a time signature. See here? Okay, so the most basic one is called 4/4. So there's a 4 and a 4, hence 4/4. Okay, so the top number represents, you're going to ask yourself this question. Whenever you look at the top number, how many beats are there per bar? How many beats? So that's how many beats there are. There are 4 beats. So you're going to count to 4 for this. Okay, so we know that we're counting to 4 for every bar. I'll show you what a bar is after this. Okay, and then now you have to know, you're counting to 4, but they have different ways of what they're going to count. They might call 4 of these, or 4 of these, or 4 of those, or 4 of those. So this 4 here corresponds with this 4 here. So this means a quarter note. Okay? So you've got how many beats? 4, and how many of the, you're going to have 4 quarter notes. So what is the beat? A quarter note. So you have 4 quarter notes. That's it. That's how you're going to look at that.